I reckon I can get $1 billion valuation within 10 years, and I reckon we can get an exit from someone like Nike. I know I could help anyone go from 0 to $1 million a month. All the growth you ever wanted is inside the unsexy work that you do not want to do.
In today's episode, Deep, an agency owner who's generated hundreds of millions of views for his clients, sits down with Josh Fear, a serial entrepreneur and a mobility coach. His fitness business is generating over $40 million a year and changing lives worldwide.
You know, your belief is going to subtly leak through in your communication. Like, sales is a transfer of energy. And if you don't have that absolute conviction and the pure intention of, like, you know, what you're trying to do and why you're trying to do it, then they're going to read that.
How do you maintain high standards as your organization grows?
Yes, I'm in culture. You want to reverse engineer from values. And if you don't know what they are, it's really like, you know.
Josh Fear, welcome to the show, brother.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
You have built something special with Moves Method. I mean, there's only a few fitness companies out there that can actually say that they're 8 figures and have helped how many people? Do you have some kind of tracker?
There's about 150,000 people in the community right now.
That's insane, man.
That's a lot of people.
In the most saturated field out there of health, wellness, fitness, everyone out there is just trying to sell the next 6-pack diet or the new nutrition plan or something. How did you guys break through?
Yeah, so I think, first of all, targeting a very specific pain point for a very specific avatar is the way to cut through. I mean, that's really how it started. I actually started with calisthenics. So just to give a bit of backstory, I went traveling. I didn't have access to a gym. And so I was looking for new ways to stay in shape, and that introduced me to gymnastic rings and new ways of training. And that led me down this entire rabbit hole of all these like ways of training and staying in shape that I'd just never known of before. And over like a year or two of doing that, I started getting more and more people asking me, like, how do you stay in shape whilst traveling? And so that's actually how I started. It was like helping people stay in shape whilst traveling. Like, that was kind of my thing. Started scaling that a little bit, got to a certain point and just kind of hit a plateau, to be honest. And what I realized was a lot of the clients that are coming to me, like, the real benefit they were getting was it was actually just unlocking a lot of their pain and tiredness they'd had for a long time. And I realized that was the core benefit they were getting from this. And so I pivoted then to like help people specifically overcome like tightness, injuries, stiff joints, things like this. And that's when it really started to take off. And like, that's a pain point that people actually want to get away from. Whereas before I was trying to like promise, like, you know, help people do things like pull-ups, muscle-ups, handstand push-ups, like stay in shape. Like, that's more of a nice to have. They're getting away from the pain, the tightness, the stiffness. Like, that's something that people need. And that's something that people want to have and like need to have right now. So I think just getting people away from pain, targeting a very specific pain point for a very specific avatar, that's really how we broke through the noise. And then the rest is just like having a good team, having good systems. And yeah.
It's interesting. I mean, we think a lot about, oh, well, I need to build a product or business around something people want, a desire, right? But what you're telling me is it's actually more selling them something or giving them a solution to something that's avoiding pain.
Yeah, well, there's always going to be a gap, right? So there's going to be a gap. Let's just say you've got like -1, 0, and 1. Some people are going to come to you, they're -1. They're in pain and they want to go from -1 to 0. There's also going to be people who like want to have the nice to have, but they don't necessarily have a pain point right now. They're the people trying to get from 0 to 1. All right, so there's a gap either way, but typically the people with the -1, like the pain point right now, they have more desire to take action and they have more urgency to take action. And so in terms of growing a business, like for me, I found that that's the best way to go.
When did you start validating this idea that, oh, this is what people want more of? Like, how did you know that, oh, I'm kind of going to pivot this direction? Like, what's that tipping point?
Yeah, I mean, it was really, I guess it was just really seeing the results people were getting. And like, I thought, like, because what I wanted to be able to do cool stuff. And so that's what I thought other people wanted. And so that's kind of what I was giving people. But then I was obviously in the front lines doing everything myself, doing the coaching myself. I was speaking to these clients every single day. And what I found really fascinating was that all of them were like getting these life-changing results. They're like, man, like, you know, for the first time in years, I'm not having back pain. I'm not having this tightness, et cetera, et cetera. And so I realized that was just a way more valuable problem to solve. And so like, that's really when I pivoted. It was really just being in the front lines, talking to the clients every single day. And then, later on partnered with Vanya and she'd done mobility and it just kind of all made sense.
Speaking of Vanya, I mean, that's your partner in business, but also your partner in life, right?
Yeah, it's not easy at times, but we make it work.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. I mean, you guys have built something that, again, we're gonna dive into and pop the hood and talk about the mechanics of the business and the behind the scenes and all that. But at a high level, tell me the story there. You know, how does that even come about?
Yeah, well, we were doing a very similar thing. Like she was doing a kind of similar thing online, but she didn't really know where she wanted to take it. And I was already doing something that I like knew I wanted to make big. But I was starting to like get very burnt out. Like, you know, I mean, you know, in the 0 to 50K a month stage, you're like, it's a fucking war zone, man. Like every day is a fucking war zone.
Just trying to stay alive.
You're just trying to
Yeah.
stay alive. Yeah. And yeah, like what I really fell in love with throughout the process was the marketing and sales side of it. Like I love the process of taking someone, you know, and changing the entire trajectory of their life, right? Taking someone and they don't even know that they need something yet, and you can make them realize this and how much better their life can be. Like that's what I really love, that psychology side of it. And so, yeah, like we'd been together for maybe 6 months. But she is probably one of the best coaches in the world with this type of training. And I just said, look, why don't you just come and take on all the clients, take care of all the fulfillment. I'll do the marketing, the sales, the business growth and operations. And that's really how it started. And then we just kind of grew it from there.
So you focused on your strengths and what you actually enjoyed doing a lot more, and what you had a little bit more of that, I guess you could say, passion and skills for. And you also saw that she's really good at this one thing. Let me place you here. But that probably didn't, like, you didn't figure that out overnight, right? How do you figure out what your strengths are and like what really excites you?
Yeah, I mean, I guess just from doing it, right? I guess just being in the trenches every day. Like for me, yeah, I fell in love with the marketing and sales side of things. Like I knew how like Vine is really passionate about coaching, and like we were spending a lot of time together anyway. And it just kind of, I don't know, it just kind of made sense. So that I wish I had a better answer for you.
No, for sure. Look, I can completely relate. I mean, other than the life partner, the side of things, like, you know, being together and whatnot, Jamie and I have a very similar dynamic where it's like, I love the sales and marketing and pushing the vision of the company high level, thinking about strategy, direction, big picture.
Yeah,
I do not like being in the weeds and worrying about how a video is edited.
yeah,
I could not I could not care less about, you know, what the posting strategy is. And
yeah.
but Jamie loves all of that stuff. And you've kind of seen it, you know, we've worked together and done some content together. I could never come up with an idea and a script and strategy like Jamie does.
Yeah.
But he couldn't close deals and worry about getting the customers and pushing the structure and the operations of the business forward. So it's kind of like a marriage in that sense that really works.
Yeah, no, 100%. And like, to be honest, like in terms of like the relationship thing, like I don't actually, yes, there are downsides to it. Obviously, like you're working together and like doing everything else together. But at the same time, like all I ever want to talk about is business. And so like if we go out for dinner, like the discussion is business. And I don't know if I could have a partner where like I had to talk about, I don't know, like all this girl gossip, like it would just make me go crazy. Like it would make me, give me brain rot. I couldn't deal with it, man. So like for me, I kind of need to have somebody who's on the same wavelength as me. And so it's kind of worked out in that sense. But yeah, no, like to that point as well. Like I mean, when she came in and overtook fulfillment, I did kind of it was hard at first because I realized like it was actually the speaking with the clients every day that gave me a lot of fulfillment. You know, you're actually seeing like how it's changing people's lives. And so when I stepped a bit more away from that, you know, in a sense, it goes from like seeing how it's impacting people's lives to like everything becoming just a number on a spreadsheet. You know, so like there was a period where like I really kind of lost fulfillment through that. And eventually I found that fulfillment again through like building and developing a team. And now I like all my fulfillment comes now from like seeing my team improve, seeing them hit their goals, whether that be financially, professionally, like whatever. So that's where I get my fulfillment from now. And that's kind of how I fill that void.
So there's a ton of people out there who teach you how to get to 50K a month. There's even some that teach you how to get to 100K a month. I mean, you've broken through the 7-figure barrier on a monthly scale. That's insane to say in the fitness space. And I know we talked about this before. You're probably not the type of person to just sit there and be satisfied with touching that. You know, you want to crush that and make it go to even the next level, and we have talked about that a little bit. But why is it that there's so few companies that break through that threshold, that 6-figure a month is kind of the cap of what they can do?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard, man. Like, I think it's the reality. Like, it's hard. Like, there are a lot of things that have got to align, and you've got to have a great product market fit. You have to be able to get people great results. You have to have a really good team. You have to have really good systems. And then above all of that, you need to have like a really big drive. And like, a lot of people, you get to 100K a month, you're living pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Like,
All your bases are covered. You
Yeah.
don't really need much more than that on a personal level.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, and so I think a lot of it is just drive. Yeah. I mean,
So what drives you? Why even keep going?
yeah, I mean, there was a quote I read once and it really resonated. Like, I'm not a big quotes guy, but there was just one that really resonated with me. And I can't remember who said it, but it was like, I think it was Nelson Mandela. There is no passion to be found in playing small and living a life lesser than the one you're capable of living. And that just like really hit me, because like, it's like, for me, it's like, if I'm going to do something, I'm just going to go all in and see what happens. But like, at the same time, I understand that like, I'm going to be dead in 100 years and none of it really matters anyway. Right, it's like, for me, I just get excited by like the big numbers. I want to do cool shit with cool people. Like, if I'm going to do something, like I want to, have access to like really cool people. Yeah, and I'm just driven by like doing big things.
So, I mean, I love that. You kind of, a lot of the philosophies are very similar to like an Alex Hormozi, who I know you have learned from and studied. And even hearing the dynamic between you and Vanya, it almost sounds like Layla and Alex a little
Yeah.
bit. Do you see some similarities in like that drive and what you're trying to achieve?
Yeah, it's actually funny because like I always thought I was a bit of a weirdo, like in the way I think. Like I'm a very like just tough love, like logical kind of guy. It's just like, this is bullshit. Like, um, and I always thought I was a weirdo for that, because I didn't know anyone else like that. And it was only when I started seeing like Hormozi's content, I was like, fuck, this is the first person like I really resonate with.
Yeah.
And like everything he said is like exactly how I think, but he just articulates it way better than I've ever been able to articulate it.
He's a world-class communicator.
Yeah,
Just being
100%.
able to take complex topics and bust it down into a 30-second clip that makes me want to watch a 40-minute YouTube video.
100%.
And you just
Yeah.
What's it like working like with him in person? You went to one of the like workshops or something like that, or what was it?
Yeah, we went to a workshop this year. It was pretty good. Like I went just to kind of network, really. I think we were actually one of the biggest businesses there. It's like most of the weekend we actually had people coming up to us and asking us like how we're doing X, Y, Z. But like it was really good to like, I don't know, just meet everyone. Like a couple of the guys that work for acquisition, like I've worked with in the past. So it was good to catch up with them. And yeah, it was just a good experience. Like what I really took from that, honestly, like above all the tactical help, was just seeing how strong their culture is inside that place. You walk in and like you feel it. Like every single person working for that company is like on the same page, very driven. They all know exactly where they're going, why they're doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like you really feel that energy, and like that's something that I really took from that experience.
So my business, my agency, which you are kind of familiar with, we've worked together. We're at that 50, 60K mark. We're in the trenches. Every day's a war zone, just like you were talking about, fighting for survival every month. Now, we have some months where things go very well and I can breathe and I can focus on, okay, forecasting for maybe the next month, but it never gets beyond that. And I've had a really hard time systemizing the business. I've never been an operations-minded person. I don't think in processes. And I feel like that's the thing that's missing to get to that next level. But where my skill set lies is with people and with sales, and now a little bit more with marketing as well. I just want to go and make us more money. In my opinion, sales solves everything. Because if I just make more money, I could pay for some operator person to come in and help out. Is that the right mindset, or how do I break through to that consistent 100K month level? I've hit it, but I never stay there. Things start to break and fall apart.
Yeah, no, I get it. I've been there, man. I was there for a while. Like really, I mean, I can just talk from my experience. Like what changed for us is when we, it was a change in strategy and campaign that like practically gave us unlimited leads. So like we transitioned to, for example, I mean, we were about, so for context, we're doing about 5 million right now a month in revenue. About 2 million of that is with the sales team. But a year ago, we were doing about 200K a month with the sales team. So that's all happening in like 1 year. We practically 10x'd this past 12 months.
That's insane.
Yeah, and just so from my experience, like there was a couple of things that allowed us to do that. One, we practically, like I said, went to a place where we had unlimited leads. So that was campaign. So we changed funnel. We went to a low ticket funnel, and we were practically liquidating the entire of that low ticket funnel, which means we're practically generating sales calls on the back end for free. There's actually like a 3 or 4 month period where we were making money on that front end.
Wow.
So we were actually getting paid to take sales calls. Now, if you're in a place right now where you're getting paid to take sales calls, how fast would you go?
Oh my God. Insane.
Right. So the question becomes, how do I get unlimited leads? Right. Like everything comes back to that. And so like it's innovating new ways to get that. Now, that's not the only thing. Obviously, like another part of it is team. But like with where you're at, like I get it. Like it's hard because like having A players in your team is going to be by far the fastest and highest leverage thing you can do in order to grow. But you're kind of in a place where you can't fully afford those people yet, right? Or it's too unstable.
Yes.
So like you're kind of in a phase where you have to, like, man, for me, like anyway, like I just brute forced my way through that phase. Like it, and it's hard. Like this is why most people don't break through it, right? Like it's 12, 14 hour days, and like you're really got to brute force. Like you really got to have your eye on the vision. You really got to know how to prioritize your time, and you've just got to brute force your way through that thing. But yeah.
So one thing that, I mean, I know that I need to change this, but I haven't had the heart to in the last however many years working with Jamie and building this company together, is picking one niche. And you started this podcast by talking about like that was the thing. You found the pain point for one avatar, and you dove into that.
Yeah.
How do you pick that, man? Because it's like, I want to work with a lot of people, but I know that that's probably the thing that's keeping us from building the systems and having the marketing messaging dialed for one person.
Yeah, it's man, I struggled with this for a long time because I was the same. Like like when you want to build something big, it's like all you can think about is like you want to help everyone.
Yeah.
But like, like you really have to reverse engineer that. And like, so for me, like, so for example, like I want to scratch this itch, which I've talked to you a little bit about. Like, I want to help other business owners grow from like the 100K mark to the million a month mark, because I know I can do that very well. And I know I don't have to deal with all like the mindset issues that people are going to go through from 0 to 100K. Like I want people with a proven offer and then just scale to $1 million a month. Now, I know I could help anyone go from 0 to $1 million a month on a long enough time horizon. But like, it's like, do I want those headaches? And it's just like, so like, who do you know you can help the most? Who are you going to be most effective at helping? And just get those people really, really good results. And then like, you'll feel when the time is right to expand to a slightly bigger market, right? Like,
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I think about things.
Yeah, it makes sense to me. I mean, the brute force thing, I'm willing to put those hours in. I've sacrificed a lot. I quit drinking. I go to bed at like 9, 10 these days. I'm just absolutely as dialed in as I've ever been, but it still feels like there's another level to break through to really maximize my time. And I feel like I'm still doing a lot of bullshit tasks in the business that's not letting me focus on the business and have that, big picture thinking. How do you balance trying to zoom out and think big picture with brute force fucking just grind?
It's a good question. So this is actually something you need to get really good at, especially in your phase. And it's the ability to go from like zooming out to zooming in, like all the time. Just you use like that's a skill set in my opinion. Like you've got to get really good at that. And in terms of like prioritizing your time in that phase, like the 0 to 100K phase, like it's like everything you're doing, especially the first 4 hours of your day, it's like, is this a revenue generating activity? Like for you right now, like if all the time you're not generating new sales calls or taking sales calls, you're not growing your business.
Dude.
I mean, like, sure, you can increase LTV of your current clients, and that's a whole separate thing. But like, the reality is, like, at that phase, you don't have, a whole bunch of clients to where like it's going to change your business overnight, right? It's really, you need more sales calls and you need to take more sales calls. All the time you're not doing that, your business isn't growing. And so like, when you're in the tactical phase, I call it the tactical phase of business, it's like 0 to 100K. It's like you're learning all the skills. That's a very simple framework to know how to prioritize your time.
Bro, it's so funny you said that, because even just as early as 2 weeks ago, I made the conscious decision where I did an audit of my calendar. I was just getting frustrated. At the end of the day, I did so much, but I accomplished so little. I feel like I didn't move the needle.
Busy but not productive, yeah.
Busy but not productive. And I'm sitting there at the end of this and I'm like, man, something's got to fucking change. All I want to do is make us money. I'm addicted to that feeling, And how do I just, because that solves everything. And I know the feeling of when big wire hits and I'm like, I can breathe for a second. And it's not like happiness, it's more like relief. Like, I can deploy this now. We've earned another month in the game.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So all that to say, I had this realization where I sat down with Jamie, with our team, and I told everyone, I'm like, if it's not going to help us make money, I don't want to hear about it.
Yeah, you need to become like really brutal and like really relentless in how you spend and prioritize your time.
Exactly.
Like,
canceling meetings left and right. I'm like, this is not making me money.
yeah,
It's nice. Yeah, cool. We're talking about this whatever strategy for this thing or hiring this person for this edit. Not my role. I need to go get us money.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, 100%. And yeah, like I was the same. Like when I remember doing my first 100K month, and I was like, it made me more driven than ever. Like in terms of getting away from paying, so like it felt illegal. I was like, is this illegal? And I say, if like every single day, it feels like, right, yes, I've done this, and like there's nothing to suggest that I won't keep doing it. But what if everything gets taken away from me tomorrow? Or like, what if I don't get another client for 3 months? And so like you're kind of always operating from that place. But I mean, yeah, like it's really just comes down to a numbers game, looking at the numbers on like a 30-day period. And then yeah, first 4 hours, like the first 4 hours of your day, you want to be like really strict with. Like, if this isn't directly growing my business in the first 4 hours of my day, I'm not going to do it in the first 4 hours of my day.
What's the first 4 hours of your day look like when you were in the tactical phase?
In the tactical phase, it's going to be generating sales calls and taking sales calls.
Okay. What specifically were you doing to generate those sales calls?
So back then I was doing a lot of DM outreach.
DM outreach.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like, what is your acquisition channel? Like for me, it was DM outreach and then some ads as well. It's like you want to be doing that. And then yeah, taking as many sales calls as you can, like calling all of your leads. If you're not on sales calls, yeah, just generating as many as you can, and then obviously throughout the day taking as many as you can as well.
When did you when did you think to start letting go of sales? At what level do you hire your first closer?
Yeah, so for me it kind of felt right. So I was getting very like burnt out, to be honest. Like I was doing everything myself for so long, and I just had this limiting belief that there's no one in the world that can do it for my business, which is obviously a load of BS. But like I really started to feel that, and like I wasn't being present on like the calls anymore. Like I wasn't being present with people because I just had like a million different things going on in my mind. Like I was really starting to struggle with it. And I remember this one sales call I had, this one call, and the guy texted me the next day. He was like, "Hey man, like I really love what you guys are doing, and like honestly, I would have come and joined you guys. The reason I didn't is because like I didn't really feel like you were paying attention, and like I knew that he was right." And like I knew that I wasn't, and that's when I knew like, right, I need to do something about this, and like I need to just get a sales rep in. And for me, that was the point where I was like, right, I need to get a sales rep. I need to start doing things differently. And that's when that was really the kick up the ass I needed to start delegating.
That's a gut punch.
Yeah,
it's one of those hard truths that you're like, oh, okay, now it's time. But how many calls were you taking roughly in that period?
Oh man, as many as I could, maybe 4 to 6 a day.
Oh yeah. While still doing everything else.
While still doing
in between calls,
everything,
slacking, and
everything,
yeah, dude.
Yeah, man. Like there was a period of time where like I would wake up, like this is not healthy, and like the ironic thing is I was running a fitness offer. Like I was waking up at 6 a.m., like rolling out of bed, opening my laptop, getting to work. And just doing that until like 9 p.m, closing my laptop, getting back into bed. Like the only time I'd get off is like to go to the shop to get lunch. And even then I would start running because I felt like by walking to get to the shop to get lunch, I was wasting time. Dude, it was just like brute forcing my way.
I can relate to this because nowadays, I mean, I'm not on that level. I'm not there, but every minute I'm trying to optimize for so that I can do more of the thing. Like I got a little bit of style. I got the earrings and stuff like that. Dude, I was finding that it was taking me too long to find the matching fucking earring in my closet. So I'm just like, I'm never going to have this problem ever again. Everything is in fucking pairs in a line. So I don't have to take the 30 seconds because that's fucking 30 seconds I could be using to make money, dude. So I'm like, I'm really just and I've stretched that now into like every area of my life as much as possible. I'm not cooking my food. This is a fucking waste of time, bro. Let me just get it delivered to my door. and whatever, so I can take more calls, so I can call up more old clients, so I can call, just hustle.
Yeah.
But I'm not at the burnout stage yet. I want more. I need more. Like, give me more fucking calls.
Yeah, well, I'm really big on this, and if there's actually one piece of advice I could give to anyone, like in your phase, or like even just trying to get into business and like build a business, like it would be this: optimize your environment to make it as hard as possible to fail. And like you have to be very intentional with optimizing your environments. Like when I started, so I'll give you a backstory. When I first got to Sydney and I was traveling, I had like some keep me going jobs, and I was gardening, landscaping. And like we were going around to like all these multi-million-dollar houses around Sydney, like the nicest houses, like tennis courts, pools, like some you had to sign a waiver just to access, like helicopter, like insane. And whenever I got there, I'd always ask to go to the toilet just so I could go into the house and like have a little like nose around, like. And one thing I noticed where every single house is not one of them had a TV in the lounge. Like it was all just books and tables and a chair. Like there was literally nothing else you could do. I mean, maybe they had a cinema room downstairs. I don't know, but that's what I took from it. And so when I got an apartment, I didn't like for the first 2 or 3 years of building a business, I didn't have anything in my, like all I had in my apartment was a desk, a chair, and a bed. And when I say a bed, I mean a mattress on the floor. So all I could do in that apartment for 3 years straight was work or sleep. That was all I could do. And even now I don't have a bed. I just have a mattress on the floor, and I do have a sofa now, but I rarely use it. But yeah, like, I mean, you can look in my apartment right now, and like, I've pretty much got a desk, a chair, a bed, a sofa, and that's literally like, there was nothing to do with my house apart from work.
Bro, that's literally that meme of like a guy only needs this.
Yeah.
An entrepreneur only needs this. You know?
100%. It's served me very, like, yeah, and just minimize the amount of decisions you have to make that aren't growing your business. And I understand this isn't for everyone. This could be a little bit obsessive, but it's what I love to do.
Yeah.
And so, like, yeah, like, I don't want to have to think about what I'm wearing. I wear the same thing every day. Like, I wear sports clothes everywhere. Like, if we ever go to a restaurant, I'm in a t-shirt and shorts. Like, I'm looking like I've come from the gym or something. Like, yeah, I just try and minimize as many decisions in my life as possible.
Yeah, because then you save that brain juice for the actual big decisions, the thing that, you know, you move the needle on one thing that literally represents millions of dollars for you and all the mouths you're feeding as well.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, yeah, everything I own, I can fit into 2 suitcases. Like, I like the idea of just being able to pack up and go whenever I want. Like, freedom is my ultimate value. And yeah, in every single form of freedom. So yeah, for me, I'm just a very minimalist person. If I've got a laptop, a few clothes, I'm good.
Travel's very important to you, right?
Yeah, I would say it changed my life, to be honest. Yeah, like I bought a one-way ticket to Australia. I never thought it would lead to where I'm at now, but I bought a one-way ticket to Australia when I was hungover one day. I was living a life I didn't want to be living in the UK. Like, I was going out drinking every weekend, doing everything under the sun. But eventually realized that life wasn't going to get me very far. So I got a one-way ticket to Australia. And yeah, I was meant to be there for like 3 months. So it's been 6 years now that I've been there. It's like, because of that, it's introduced me to like everyone that I know now. And it was really just a catalyst for everything I've got now. Like, I dread to think what would have happened if I stayed in the UK and kept doing what I was doing. Stayed in like the dead end office job I was in. Like I was a musician, so like I was in a band. We were traveling around the UK, like playing shows and stuff. That came to an end. And that's when I realized that there's nothing left in the UK for me. Like, I had to get out of there. And yeah, like just being in Australia, like it made me realize that there's so much more out there. Like, there's much more. Like, it was very much like a small town mindset where I was from. Like, no one would think outside the box. Like, everyone's very programmed and conditioned to think a certain way.
Yeah,
And yeah, man, I had to get out of there. And like, for me, yeah, like, yeah, I think that changed my life, honestly.
totally, man. I can 100% relate, because for me, I was in the same position. I mean, I was working a 9-to-5 job for the federal government of Canada. I was in the pensions department, bro. Out of college, immigrant parents, the thing to do is get a job, get a house, get married. There's this path set out for you. And I wanted the validation from my parents. I wasn't a doctor, lawyer, or engineer, so I was already a failure, in their eyes. So I'm like, fuck, what can I do to like, and this isn't all conscious. This is like subconscious programming from just like, my background, my culture. And so long story short, I'm like in this city I hate, working this job I don't like, around people who have no ambition, all going to the same bars every weekend. Those people are still going to the same bars every
Yeah.
weekend, dude. So I credit changing my environment with changing my entire life.
Yeah.
During COVID is where my business was born. Essentially I started this podcast. Real quick, I'll tell you the story. I started this podcast and I was in an attic apartment, like, just kind of like you're describing. I had a bed. I had nothing really in there. And you could see the roof is like this in my first episode of the show. And, I started to have these entrepreneurs and these millionaires on my podcast, but I'm still working this job that I hate. So I felt out of alignment. And then my ego was kind of like, the fuck does this guy have that I don't? Like that he's so successful. He doesn't seem that much smarter than me.
Yeah.
I could probably do that shit, but I didn't have a business like idea or whatever.
Yeah.
I had this one guy on my show, and he's like a celebrity personal trainer in my city. Trained a bunch of NHL players. Has this massive mansion. He was, all the cars, everything. And young me is just like enamored by this. Kind of like you would, go to those nice places, right? I'm like, fuck, like, I want this. Like, I want this kind of life. He calls me up many months after we did the podcast, and he's like, yo, Deep, you do video, right? I'm like, of course I do video, but I've never made a video in my life. I just knew how to hit record on the camera, and barely that. I'd messed that up too. Yeah, of course, Tony, what do you need? Calls me again. He's like, you do websites, right? Yeah, of course I do websites. I never made a website in my life. Calls me one more time. He's like, you do sales, right? You're good at sales. I'm like, yeah, of course, whatever you need. Bro, never sold anything like formally in my life. I didn't even know what sales was. He's like, cool, because in an hour, we're going to get on the phone with the chief of police of the city. I'm like, for what? Like, what are you talking about? He's like, you're going to sell them on the program, on the thing. I'm like, what program? What thing? What are we talking about here? He's like, bro, are you dense? Like, what are you talking, bro? We're going to film some videos. You said you film videos. You put them on a little website, like some training videos, and we sell it to the cops. I'm good friends with the chief. We'll make it happen. Just, it can't come from me. So you sell it. I'm like, I got my first like peek into like, I mean, not corruption, but like, rubbing shoulders with, whatever. But I get on this call, my first deal ever in business. I don't even have a business yet, bro. I haven't formed an LLC, nothing. It's $12,000 a month. First ever. I remember that feeling of making way more than I was in my job through this random contract that kind of just fell into my lap. And I got addicted, bro. And I never looked back. And that was my first company. And through that, that's how I found Jamie. And long story short, we've been kind of accidentally, we built an agency together, and we've been doing it ever since.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a similar thing, man. Like, 'cause for me, I was always looking for ways to make money online. But this is like 5-10 years ago, and like there wasn't all the Hormozis. I mean, Hormozi would have been making content, but he wasn't really well known. And like there wasn't all the masterminds that you see now. There would have been a few I'd not come across any. And so I was always very much trying to figure it out by myself. And like I had this cafe job once, this like dead end kind of job that again just keeping me going in Australia. And there was this one guy who always came in, and like he was like got breakfast and lunch every day and was just sitting on his laptop. I remember thinking, how does this guy afford to pay for breakfast and lunch every single day? I was like, what the fuck does this guy do like that I don't? Like, and I talked to him, he's just a normal guy. I'm like, whatever he's doing, like I could do that. And I asked him, I was like, man, like, what are you doing? And he was telling me like how he did this like, online coaching thing, and like he learned from a mentor. And I was like, well, how do I learn to do that? Like, he was like, I was like, can you put me in touch with your mentor? And he was like, like, it's just really a friend. She doesn't actually do it, but I can put you in touch with this guy. And so he put me in touch with this other guy. I got onto what I know now to have been a sales call, and he was telling me about the program. I was like, fuck, this is what I've been looking for this last 5 years. Like, where's this guy been all my life? Gets to the end of the call, 15K. I was like, what do you mean 15K? He was like, yes, 15K. I was like, well, I don't have 50. Like, where am I going to get 15K from? So I was like, dude, I don't have 15K, and like I have no way to get 15K. Like, what can you do for me? And long story short, ended up downselling me in this like 2K program. I didn't have 2K, but I had like $500 to my name. I was in Australia. I still had my car sitting on the driveway back home in the UK. So I sold that for like, I think it was like 2K or something. I had like 2.5K, gave this guy the 2.2K.
You sold your car to get this program?
Yeah, man. Yeah, like I was like, fuck, like something's got to change. Like I clearly haven't figured this out on my own yet. And so I called the guy back. I was like, yeah, look, I've got the money. Like, here's the 2K. How do I send it to you? Sent it to him, got in the program. It was just sort of this like, it wasn't a very good course, but like it was enough. And like I executed on that thing. Like my life, like fucking depended on it, man. Like, I called this guy back. I've got the text message thread on my WhatsApp. About 4 weeks later, I called him back. I was like, man, I've got the 15K. Like, how do I sign up? He took the 15K. I got into the program. And then I like, you know, it was just a snowball effect from there. Like I made my first 100K, called the guy back, like found the next mentor, invested another 20K, made my first 500K, you know, and it was just like it's over to now it's accumulated to I spent about 500K learning from different mentors, the best of the best. And it's really just been that constant cycle.
Bro, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, a funny story, that guy that took my last damn 2K, he's now one of my sales managers. So it's been like full circle.
That's crazy full circle, man. I can relate so hard when it comes to investing in the courses, coaching, masterminds, that type of thing. Bro, when I started making this 12K a month from this check, I still got my 9-to-5 job. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I don't know what to do with this money. And so, I mean, obviously, I called up my boy. I'm like, yo, because I don't know how to make a fucking video. I don't know how to make a website. Called my boy, yo, you want to make some videos for me? I'll give you like $1,000. Call my other boy, yo, can you make this website for me? I'll give you $500. I got all this profit now. I don't know what to do with it. I feel like weirdly like guilty.
Yeah, it's like, is this legal? Like,
I feel like this is illegal. I'm like, yo, I didn't do anything. Yeah. I just got on a call, sold some shit that didn't exist, and I just made it exist. That's when I learned my power is connecting dots.
Yeah.
I'm not really good at like doing the thing. But I could find the person who could do the thing. I'm still doing that to this day.
Yeah.
And so in that, I felt this like imposter syndrome though. It's like I got all this money coming in, it's sitting in the bank. I got this job. This isn't a business. I can't repeat this. I don't know how to. So I'm like, I got all this extra money. What do I do with it? And I went to business school, but I didn't learn shit about business, bro. So I'm like, this is real. How do I keep this going? How do I grow this?
100%. So when I took my first ever sales call, which I know now to have been like what's known as high ticket sales, right? But I didn't know that was a thing back then. I took my first ever call, one of my first ever call, probably like fourth or fifth, but like I closed this guy, like the first close I ever got, and I sold him like on my program for it was like 2,000 Australian dollars. At the time, like, I mean, $2,000 was a lot of money to me. I just like given my last $2,000. Like I've never really seen that money before. Like I sold my car to get the 2K, but whatever. But like in that moment, I remember getting off that call, and like that was the richest I'd ever felt in my life. Not because I had the $2,000, because I'd figured out a way. I'd figured out that people will pay me $2,000 in order to help them. And like I remember just thinking, like,
that's
right,
the lesson.
If this guy, who by the way was a random guy on the other side of the world, like this guy just gave me $2,000 to help him like change his life through fitness, and like if he will do that, there are thousands of people just like him out there who will also do that. So now it's like, how do I find those people? And like that's when like, you know, that's when I started like really like just like I said, brute forcing my way through the growth. It's like I need to find these people.
And that's what you've been doing ever since.
That's what I've been doing ever since.
It's the exact same concept, just at a different scale.
Exactly, yeah.
That's super interesting, man. And yeah, going back to it, like the courses and coaching, to me, it's not about the content of what you're learning. It's about, I think it's kind of a spiritual thing. It's like you have to almost let go of this money that scares you a little bit to spend. There's a time when, you know, I was living down in Colombia. Jamie was still up in Canada. I was running all the sales of the company. And when I finally quit my job, that's when I moved down to Colombia, went all in on our business. We made more money in that month, like spiritually, when I like burned the boats, than we did all year working together. I think we did like 70K in that 1 month. The whole year we did like 50. So it was like, oh shit, we're on to something here. But now I didn't have enough editors, videographers, whatever to fulfill. I was closing like a monster. And I'm like, yo, Jamie was like the only one. I'm like, dude, we need to hire now. So I had to start learning that skill. And so I kept investing in courses and coaching and learning. And the big value to me was spending a fuck ton of money to me, which to me was a lot of money. Like at one point, we dropped 50K on this one course, mastermind. We didn't necessarily have the 50K, but I knew that we needed to spend that to get in the mindset of getting to the next level. And through the people that we met, through the network, through the like spiritual ascension of, don't hold on to and clasp onto money.
Yeah.
That comes back tenfold. And that's how I've been able to generate millions in revenue from not holding on and investing in courses, coaching.
Yeah, 100%. Like, it's important you have that experience as well, because I mean, like I always say, like, you can't sell a 5K program if you've never bought yourself a 5K program.
Exactly.
You can't hold people accountable to a high standard and change their life on a consultation call if you've never done that for yourself. Like, it starts with you, right? Like, in order to hold people to that standard, you need to hold yourself to that standard. And so, like, if you're not willing to put your back against the ropes in order to change your life, then why should someone else that you're trying to convince to do it?
Absolutely, man. And that conviction also, it's an energetic exchange that happens on a sales call as well.
Yeah.
I find when I've done my workout, when I've taken care of myself, when I've got a haircut, like everything, like when I just feel good, clean, ready to go, I have more conviction as well. Like I know what I'm selling is solving this person's problem. It's like my duty and my responsibility to sell them on this. But when I started out, bro, I used to have a lot of head trash around sales. I used to think that it's like some used car salesman, like stealing someone's money type of thing. For my first whole year in business, dude, I couldn't close a deal. And I was selling like, you know what I was selling? Because I made that 12K a month and I didn't know what to now sell. So I started selling podcast management services, okay? I couldn't sell a $500 deal for my life. Something that now I could probably sell for 15K with ease. I was doing so much work. I'm like, I'll take your podcast. I'll help you film it. I'll edit it. I'll post it for you. I'll cut up clips for $500 fucking dollars, bro. I'll do all that. And I couldn't close a deal because I had all this mental trash around sales and all this stuff. So
yeah, 100%. And it's like, your belief is going to subtly leak through in your communication. That's why if you're not willing to spend your last 10K, your last 15K in a program, that limiting belief is going to leak through in your communication. Like it is, like sales is a transfer of energy. And if you don't have that absolute conviction and the pure intention of like, what you're trying to do and why you're trying to do it, then, they're going to read that.
So you said earlier that, you had a hard time letting go of sales because of the concept of who could do it better than me? I'm the founder. Like I have to do it. You know, when you did hire a closer, when you did bring the sales team on, how did you effectively train them to do, I mean, not as good as you, but good enough?
Yeah, I mean, it's realizing that, it's not that it's not possible for other people to do it. It's that I don't know how to teach other people to do it.
Taking the ownership.
Exactly.
I got to become systems minded enough to build that into a process to teach.
Yeah, this isn't like a people can't do it problem. This is I don't know how to do it problem, right? Like I don't know how to standardize my process and teach other people how to do it. And that was actually a big learning curve because like when you do things yourself, like in the tactical phase, you kind of just do things your own way and you can kind of get away with it because you're the owner and like no one's going to have more conviction than you. And so like you kind of become unconsciously competent throughout that process, and going from being unconsciously competent in something to then taking a step back and becoming consciously competent. So it's like, why do I say things this way? Like, what are the things that trigger? How do I structure things? And like, how do I standardize my process? Like that's a skill in itself because like, it's easier to do things yourself than to train other people to do it, right? It's also less scalable though. So it's like, if you want to get over that hump, like you need to develop that skill set. And it's like, it's like 0 to 50K is like the tactical stuff, like learning everything yourself, brute forcing your way. But then like after that, like the 50K, it's like 250K mark or whatever. Like, it's like, how do I take everything that I'm doing, standardize it in a way that like a 7-year-old could do it, right? And so like, it's just taking everything, you know, and making that process. And like, it takes time. It takes time, but like, and you know, for a while people won't do it as good as you. But I mean, like these days, like I've got sales reps that are way better than me at sales. And yeah.
And it's also like an element of letting go of control as well, right?
Yeah, it's letting go of control. And it's all just very new to you, right? Like at that point, like it's taking a step into the unknown. If I was going to go and start a business right now, like I'd probably get to where I am now within 12 months because like I know exactly how to do every single thing.
Yeah.
But like when you're doing it for the first time, it's a skill set issue.
Yeah.
You don't know how to get over each obstacle.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So yeah, it just takes time.
How do you decide what to delegate versus what to personally own as a CEO?
Yeah, I mean, this is still something I can get better at. I've actually did an audit recently of like all the things I spend my time doing, and it's like I realize like I'm still way more involved in the business than I should be, and that's partly because I really love it. Like I love doing the marketing, I love doing the business and like the sales and like everything. But like in order for us to get to the next level, because like I've got really a huge vision, like I really do need to step away. And like luckily I'm at a place now where I have like A players in every single role who are specialists and better than me at what they do. Plus they have all their time to dedicate to that one role. I'm not even necessarily needed. And so, yeah, even now I need to take a step back from that. But it's really just like, at this point with the size of the team I have, it's just like most things that need to be done can be done by a team member. So it becomes easy, right? But like, at your level, for example, like, you know, anything that isn't growing the business, you want to delegate.
For you at this stage, what is the most important thing that you can do? Is it content? Is it hiring? Is it overseeing, managing? What is it?
Yeah, like where I'm at now?
Yeah, where you're at now.
Yeah, I'd say two things. The first thing is hiring. Like I'd say 40 to 50% of my time is spent networking.
And you're still very involved in that. You still approve every person that comes in?
No. Like for reps and like, for reps, no, I don't have really any involvement in that anymore. But like for like obviously executive roles and manager roles, I do. But it's just like, you know, one thing I've learned is that like, there are certain types of people, there are certain A players that can come in and practically give you like 10x return overnight. Like, because they're just that good.
Rock stars.
Yeah. And those people are not looking for jobs. You have to find those people. And so like, you know, I typically learn new skills through hiring these days. So like, for example, we've been developing an app recently. I knew nothing about developing UX, UI design, product lead for things like this. I had no idea how to do it. And so I went out and I interviewed like 50 to 100 people in these areas that have worked for huge brands like Whoop, Strava, like all the big brands. And just through interviewing all these people and talking to all these people, like you learn a lot. Like you start to understand, all right, that this kind of pocket of people that have this school of thought. There's some people that like have more so this school of thought, and you can start to identify like who's good and who's not, just from like pattern recognition.
Right.
And so yeah, I'm involved in that sense. Like 40-50% of my time is like finding like rock stars. But then like the other side of it is personal brand is something I need to get better at. I mean, Vanya's mainly been the face of it this last couple of years. So like personal brand is huge. And it kind of comes back to that thing. It's like if you have unlimited leads, you know, sales is never really going to be an issue. Ads is never going to be an issue. So yeah, personal brand is really important and hiring.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, one thing, Jamie and I were talking about this. It's like, you actually are low key one of the kings of info. You actually are. Like you're one of you're Mount Rushmore, man, of like fitness info space, but no one really knows that.
Yeah, I've been pretty under the radar.
It's pretty under the radar. Do you prefer it that way, or do you want it to become known?
Man, well, what I love to do is build. Like I love building. And like, I don't necessarily love the personal brand side of it. Like I was saying to you earlier,
More of a means to an end for you.
yeah, like I want to start doing more podcasts because like I know I can help like a lot of businesses.
By the way, you're really good at it, man. This is your first podcast. Like you're
Yeah, my
so
first
natural with
podcast.
it. You're crushing it.
Yeah, like I do want to start doing more of it. I need to get better at it. But again, like I think just where I love building so much, it comes back to what I was saying a minute ago. Like I've become very unconsciously competent at like everything I do. And so it's like I actually need to sit for like a couple of weeks and be like, right, why do I think about things like this? Why do I do things like this? And actually like breaking it down into a framework that I can then teach. Yeah, so that's something I definitely need to get better at. But yeah, man, I just love building business. I love marketing. I love the psychology. So that's what I spend all my time doing.
How do you maintain high standards as your organization grows?
Yeah, so I mean, culture is so important. I used to think culture was like this buzzword that, like, everyone says you have to have a good culture, and it's like, what does that even mean? And it's like, but like the reality was, like, when you have like 10 people working for you, like, you don't really need to worry about culture because you're such a tight group
Yeah.
that, like, everyone knows everything anyway. When you get to this phase, I mean, like, there's people working here now and I don't even know their full names. And so, like, culture becomes really, really important. And so you want to reverse engineer from values. It's like you need to understand and know very well what your values are. And if you don't know what they are, it's really like, what pisses you off, what don't you like, and what is required in order for people to be successful. So, for example, for me, one of my pet hates inefficiency. Things taking longer than they need to. Like, things taking a week when it could have been done in a day. Like, that stuff just annoys me. Like, it's like speed is like the most important thing. So it's like you flip that. It's like, if I don't want that in my company, what is one of my values? Speed. So one of our core values is speed to learn and implement. And it's like when you have your group, your 4 or 5 core values, it's like you hire based on core values. Because it's like we have like such good talent working here. Like, we can teach any skill set in the world when it comes to like scaling a coaching business. Like, we can teach anything. What we can't do is instill values in you. Like, I can't make you someone who's highly accountable, is willing to execute with speed, etc. And so, like, really, you got to look for, it starts with hiring. And so, like, you look for values. Does this person align with your company values? If so, cool. Then the skill set, we move on to talk about the skill set. But like, I know I can teach that part, right? It's like values is what's most important. And like, in turn, that's how you build your culture. Because if you have a culture where everyone in your company is highly accountable, they take extreme ownership, everyone like executes fast, like, the culture just builds itself.
What beliefs did you have to break to get past $1 million a month?
Yeah, there's one thing actually, and it's that other people can do things just as well as me in my business. Like, so man, a year ago, so when we were doing like 200K a month, which is what I was telling you about earlier, I was doing everything still. I was the bottleneck in the business. I was managing the sales team, managing the set team, running all the ads. And when I say running all the ads, I mean writing all the ads, filming all the ads. I wasn't editing them, but then publishing the ads and doing the media buying. I was then doing all the emails, the email broadcasts. I was doing the operations, like, man, everything. Like, and like even things like making Zaps, like doing Zapier and all the tech stuff. I just didn't think anyone else could do. I was like, no one else is going to come in and know how I need things done, right? And I was the problem. Like, I was the bottleneck because I ultimately wasn't serving the business because I was spread too thin in everything.
Yeah.
And it was really when I took that leap from like doing everything myself to like delegating, like, and just having 1 or 2 like killers come in who can I take majority of that off my plate. I mean, everything changed when I hired my sales director and my marketing director. And the reason being was because, like, one, they were specialists and not generalists. I was a generalist, like I was doing everything. But 2, they were specialists who could spend all of their time and attention on the one thing that they're actually specialists at. And so like, that allowed us to like exponentially grow practically overnight. So yeah, that was 100% the limiting belief, was like knowing that other people can do it as well, if not better than me in my business.
Is that what Brian is?
Brian's a sales manager.
Manager. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Non-negotiables. I mean, like it starts with the foundations. Like, I mean, when people think building a big business, like everyone thinks about the tactical stuff, and no one thinks about like what you need to do to actually enable success in the first place. There's 5 core things. Like, the first thing is physical. So it's like, am I training? Like, let me reframe it. I'll start here. Like, whenever I feel like I'm in a bit of a rut or not performing as well as I could be, I do like a bit of an audit on these areas of my life. The first one is physical. It's like, how's my training been? And then like, how's my sleep been? The next thing is nutrition. It's like, have I been eating whole foods or have I been eating processed foods? And like, let's fix that. The third thing is like mentally, like, how's my mindset right now? How I've been like meditating, like practicing stillness, etc. Clarity is the fourth thing. So it's like, how clear am I right now on where we're going? And like, sometimes you kind of just go a bit off track and you need to recalibrate there. And then the fifth thing is necessity. It's reminding yourself, like, why am I doing this? And like, so like, whenever I feel like I'm in a bit of a rut, I just run that audit and just like basically just recalibrate my entire life again. And it's just like, they're the things I look at first.
What's the process of that? Is it journaling? Is it just a check-in?
Yeah, I'll just write each of the things and I'll just rate it out of 10, like where I'm at right now. And yeah.
And then you recalibrate based on that. For
Yeah, and
everything. Yeah.
if you're sleeping well, like if you have a good sleep rhythm, if you are training hard, if you're eating good food, if you have clarity on exactly where you're going right now, and if you have necessity, then like everything else kind of becomes irrelevant because you're
Yeah.
going to become the kind of person that wins. And so like we actually had on our EODs for a long time, like in all of our sales reps, EODs that they submit. It's like, how would you rate these 5 things in your life right now? And like we'd actually track that.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah.
So you even instituted that with the
Yeah, like we don't do it as much anymore just because like now we've got such a huge team. Like people just kind of copy and paste it and they don't take it too seriously. But yeah, for a long time we did that.
Interesting. Well, speaking of sleep, you comfortable sharing like kind of one of the next things you got coming up?
Well, not entirely, but like a bit of our vision. So like with what we're currently doing, like I mean, our goal is to be a household name in mobility and injury prevention, and I absolutely know we will do that. And we pretty much want to just dominate that niche in every vertical. So coaching and supplements, in tech. But another part of the vision is like I want to build, like I mean, like I was saying earlier, like my passion is in building. I love the process of building things. And just having a huge impact on the world in the process of doing that. And yeah, like a longer term goal for me is I'd love to just dominate the B2C health space. So like right now we have like a fitness piece. I'd love to have different pieces, which I won't go into fully, but yeah, like I know we can help people in more ways than just mobility, which is what we're doing right now. And so yeah, I kind of want to tap into different spaces and like basically copy and paste what we've done, but for different experts in the health space.
And then with regards to the app, what's the game plan there?
Yeah, so like the reason I actually started doing the app was one, to productize everything we already have. I don't know what it is, man, but like there's something about the coaching space. Sometimes it doesn't feel like you have a business. You know, it's kind of like it's just coaching. Like, I mean, your coaches really are the product, right? And so like the app is a way for us to like really productize everything that we have, in a way that's
more enterprise value.
Yeah, more of like an actual enterprise level business. And like, so that's one piece of it. But the second piece of it is like, I mean, if we want to experience exponential growth, I feel like influencers and partnerships is the way to go. It's very hard to get that working in the coaching space because it's like, there's nothing really to show other than, I mean, you can have influencers do the exercises, but I mean, that just looks like work. We've tried it didn't really work too well, and so like for me, like I want to have like a aha moment that can be like, you know, productized inside an app that can be demonstrated in like 3 seconds. It's like you look at this in 3 seconds, you know exactly what it does, and it's like, aha, that's what you know. So I want to productize it so we can really go heavily down the influencer and partnerships route, and that's really going to be the play for us for 2026.
Got it. Do you want to sell this company?
I don't necessarily have a goal right now to sell it. But I want to build it in a way that makes it sellable because, you know, whether then we sell it or not, it's going to be a better business.
Got it. What's the number? What are we going for?
So I believe that within 5 to 10 years, we can get, I reckon I can get $1 billion valuation within 10 years. And I reckon we can get an exit from someone like Nike. So I'm putting it out there right now. So I can look back. This might not age too well, but I believe we can do that.
I think it will age just fine, man. If you see the trajectory of going from 0 to 200K a month to all the crazy things you guys are doing now and what you have on the horizon, I mean, it's a no-brainer. Look, we could sit here for hours, but we are winding down here on time, and I want to respect your time as well. What's something that you want to put out there? What's a message that, you know, a hill you'll die on that's just really important for you to communicate to anyone listening?
Yeah. There's one thing. All the growth you ever wanted is inside the unsexy work that you do not want to do, right? And so I'll give you a little backstory. Like I used to look at people doing what I'm doing now, and I used to think they just had something that I didn't. I used to think there was an element of luck. Like I almost dismissed it as possible for me. And now, like I've gone through all this shit and I've done it, and like I know most of these people now. Like I can tell you that like there is no secret. Like I just didn't know what they were doing behind the scenes. I had no clue how hard these people were working behind the scenes. And I realized now that there was not one piece of luck in them getting to where they are. And so it's like, you see people's success story. Like, I mean, even this podcast right now, like, I mean, you see me talking about what we're doing and like the shit I went through to get here. And like, it almost sounds glamorous. right? It's like, it sounds like the hero's journey. It's like you went through all this shit and now like you came out the other side, and like there's an element of that story that sounds a little glamorous. And like when you hear people tell all these crazy stories, like it sounds glamorous. Like the pain and the suffering sounds glamorous because you know what the outcome is now. But when you're at the beginning of that story and all the pain and suffering is in front of you, that pain and the suffering doesn't look glamorous anymore. It actually, it looks anything but glamorous.
It really fucking sucks, actually.
Yeah, it really fucking sucks. Yeah, and so it's just like understanding that, like, yeah, like growth isn't sexy, it's not fun, it's not rewarding. And it's not, if you feel like it's like really hard, it's not because you're not good enough, it's just because you had the wrong expectations going into it. Like you see everyone else's highlight reels, but you don't understand what they're actually doing behind the scenes. And
I think that's what the Instagram reality has done for people. They think that that's the real thing. That's what's going on. Hormozy always talks about the Rocky cut scene. Right? I love how he describes that, because you just see this guy going through this triumphant challenge and training and all this stuff, and overnight he's just ready to beat the shit out of someone. It's a movie.
yeah,
They don't see that takes years, so much solitude, so much rewiring, and like looking in the mirror. And I've had to do so much of that. I feel like, I just turned 30. My 20s, so much is just throwing shit at the wall, figuring out who I am, trying to just be comfortable in my skin as a business owner, as a podcast host, as a friend, as a brother, all these identities. But now I just feel like, man, to get to that next level, it isn't that uncomfortable work. And I want to be careful using the word sacrifice, because I love it.
yeah.
I really genuinely wake up.
You have to
I
love it.
love it. I really do. But that doesn't mean that it's fun all the time.
Yeah, man, yeah. I mean, if you don't love what you're doing, Robert Greene talks about this in Mastery, but if you don't love what you're doing or passionate about what you're doing, there's just no way that you're going to endure the inevitable setbacks and obstacles that you are going to come across, right? Like you are going to get kicked in the dick a lot of times.
And that's why I don't believe that everyone is meant to be an entrepreneur. I used to think, like I used to get upset, when we were talking about getting out of your city, building something for yourself, doing something that's a little bit different, I used to think, man, why can't everyone do this?
Yeah.
I want to bring everyone with me. Boys, like, you only need 2 clients at $1,500 a month to replace your job, bro. What are we doing?
I was exactly the same, man. Like I remember when I first started figuring this stuff out, I was trying to help everyone, and they were like, "What are you talking about?" And like I couldn't get my head. I was like, "What do you mean? What am I talking about?" It's like, dude, like you could change your life.
You don't have to work this job that you hate in the city that you hate, around people that you don't enjoy.
Yeah.
You're a couple clients away, dude.
Man, honestly, you eventually learn just to not even try. Like, help people that want to be helped, but you can't help people that don't want to be helped.
You can't, and that's been a big realization for me. And I've struggled with this the past few years, but I've really come to terms with it. That I can't help everybody because they want to be helped. And I used to think it was selfish to focus on myself and like the sleep, the mindset, the nutrition, all those things. Now I think it's selfish not to.
Yeah, you have to be selfish in order to be unselfish, and a lot of people don't understand that. And like it's just little things. Like for example, right now, like if I move out my house and I've got to get rid of like, it's just a small story. Like I've got to get rid of like my fridge, like whatever other stuff. Like before, I would have been like on Marketplace, like trying to like get a few $100s for it. Now I'm just like, my neighbor's like, "Hey, do you want a new fridge? Like you can just have this." There's little things like this, right? But like the reason I'm able to be unselfish is because I was selfish for so long. And like that's just a small example, but like there's many more examples. Like
that's powerful, brother. One last question here for you on the show: how do you want to be remembered?
How do I want to be remembered? For truly changing the trajectory of someone's life. So like the most rewarding, like I've been thinking about this recently, it's like what actually makes me feel fulfilled? And like through thinking that, it's made me pay more attention and be more mindful throughout the day. Like what are the moments where I feel really fulfilled and like really genuinely grateful without trying to force it? And that is when my team texts me like, "Hey man, like I just want to say like thank you so much for what you've built. Like this company has changed my life." And like it's when I get the messages like that, that I truly feel fulfilled. So I think, just building something that allows other people to achieve all of their goals. There's no fun in any of this if you're doing it by yourself. Like you have to bring other people up with you, And so, yeah, I think that's, for me, is what I want to be remembered by.
That's beautiful, bro. One thing I'll leave you with, and something that's helped me, take it or leave it, but it's just, I'm not in a position to give you advice, but
No, man, I can learn from everyone.
I had a very hard time as I'm ascending in this business journey of mine and trying to do crazy shit and push the pace and all this stuff. I had a really hard time. I don't think about the past ever. I'm obsessed with the future, but I really need to be present. Like, that's really where life is happening. It's right now, right?
Yeah.
I had a really hard time stopping and smelling the roses and like just always focus on what's next. What's the next mountain to climb? Yeah, that's cool. Next.
Yeah.
I'd never stop and be like, oh, that was kind of nice.
You're already living the life that you once dreamed of.
I am 100% like that. This is what I always wanted, and just bringing it back to that presence. But I have a folder in my like Apple whatever photos, and anytime I get a message like that, or I get some voice note or anything, I save it in this folder, and like I call it the proof of success. For me, that's what I call it. But
Yeah.
if those moments mean something to you, maybe putting it in.
100%. I do it. I always screenshot those,
Yeah.
those things. Yeah. No, I always screenshot those things.
Beautiful.
But yeah, like my mantra, man, is proud but never satisfied. Be proud of how far you've come, but you should never be satisfied. It's, human beings, we're subconsciously wired for growth. If you're not growing, you're dying. And so, yeah, like as soon as you start getting comfortable, you're falling off that train.
I appreciate your time here, brother. Shout out your socials and how people can get involved with Move Method.
Yeah, I'll give you my business socials. I just started a page documenting the growth of building a $100 million brand. So you can follow me at Josh Fear BTS. That's on YouTube and Instagram. So thanks for having me, man.
Oh, thank you, brother.
Appreciate it.
An absolute honor, my
Good to
man.
be in Miami. I'm flying back to Sydney today, so I've got a 24-hour flight.
Oh, boy, man. Well, we look forward to having you here in Miami as well, brother.